You guys, it has been 1 year since I have been on my Mounjaro journey. So for those of you that don't know, I have been taking Mounjaro, which is a GLP-1. It is known as tirzepatide. Mounjaro is the brand name. I have been taking this weight loss medication. It's an injectable medication for 1 year. Holy moly, I have so much to share with you about my journey, and I also have a few questions that I need to answer as well, because you guys have been messaging me your questions. So let's get into it. A little bit about, you know, the backstory and how I come to start taking a weight loss injection medication. And what I want to say is that tirzepatide is a peptide. Okay, so there's a lot of confusion around Mounjaro, tirzepatide, GLP-1s, peptides. It's essentially all the same thing. So when you're hearing people online talk about peptides, they very much can be talking about taking a GLP-1. Hello. Do you want to come up? Do you want to come and say hello? Someone wants to say hello. You want to say hello? Gonna say hello to everybody? Okay, I totally forgot where I was because Dio wanted to come say hi. Okay, I think I was saying that essentially Mounjaro is, yes, I was explaining, you know, peptides, all of GLP-1s, because I know there's a lot of confusion and I get a lot of messages from people often saying, what do you mean GLP-1s are peptides, and what do you mean Mounjaro is tirzepatide, and what do you mean Mounjaro is a peptide? Or so let me just explain this because it can be quite confusing. I know when I first started taking these weight loss injections, weight loss medication, I was very confused. I was like, wait, what? So at the end of the day, Mounjaro, which is the weight loss injection I have been taking, is the brand name. Okay, it is the brand of the product. Now, it is a GLP-1, so it is in the family of Ozempic, Wegovy, and then you have Mounjaro. Now, if we were to remove the brand name away, it is actually tirzepatide. That is what the medication is, tirzepatide. Now, tirzepatide is very much a GLP-1, and that falls under the family of peptides. So I hope that clarifies it for you. So I started on this journey a year ago. I was someone that really struggled with my weight ever since I was a kid. Like, honestly, I just remember being a kid and looking in the mirror one day when we were on holidays, and I was wearing like this two-piece bikini, and I looked in the mirror and I just was like looking at my stomach, and it was the first time where I felt embarrassed about my body, where I looked at my tummy and I was like, I have a big tummy compared to all the other little girls. And ever since then, I've always had, you know, a very interesting relationship with my body, to say the least. And I've always been on a weight loss journey, so to speak. And there was many years, especially after my daughter, where I did see incredible results through doing everything the normal way, because some people think that taking weight loss medications is a form of cheating, which really annoys me. But I did see incredible results through working out consistently every single day, through getting my steps in, through eating a clean and healthy diet. Like, I did lose a lot of weight naturally. I think I lost like 20 kilos naturally after I had my daughter over a period of many years. I wasn't the mum that bounced back, that's for sure. It took me many years. However, when I entered my 30s, something kind of switched. All of the things that I was doing stopped working for me. And it was the most disheartening thing I honestly was up against. Like, when you're working out every single day and you're pushing your body and you're getting your steps in and you're eating healthy and you're doing all the right things, but your body isn't changing. And in fact, you're actually putting on more weight and you feel more uncomfortable as the days go on. It is heartbreaking. It is devastating. And then not to mention like the food noise. I was always thinking about food. I was obsessing over, you know, what I was going to eat on the weekend to come, even though it was only Monday and I just finished a weekend. I was obsessing at night, laying in bed awake, thinking, okay, trying to mentally calculate, like, what did I eat today? What was good? What was bad? You know, roughly how many calories, how many workouts would I need to do in order to burn off that extra slice of pizza that I ate. And it was just so exhausting, but I truly thought that this was normal. I really have gone my whole adult life obsessing over food and thinking that the food noise and the obsession has been completely normal. And it wasn't until a year ago I was having a conversation with my partner Ethan, and I was sharing with him about the weekend to come. And again, it was Monday, and I was thinking about Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I said to him, I'm like, okay, so what are we going to eat on the weekend? And he literally looked at me and was like, dude, it's Monday. Like, why are we thinking this far ahead? And I was like, don't you feel like you need to like plan your food out? And he was like, no, like when the weekend comes, like I'll just, sorry, I feel like I have an eyelash that's out of place and it's really annoying me. He was like, no, I just deal with it on the weekend. And I was like, wait, this isn't normal. And so I had been researching GLP-1s, you know, peptides and all that for 6 months before I fully actually said yes to going on the medication. So initially I was on Mounjaro through my doctor. So I was prescribed it. I went to my doctor. She weighed me in her, I weighed myself before I went and I was 76 kilos. And I always get asked this, I'm 169 centimeters. So my BMI was higher than usual. But she weighed me at 77 kilos. Obviously scales are different. And so she weighed me. I shared with her about the food noise. Obviously I was really struggling to work out. I even walked to my doctor's. Like that's how committed I was to getting my steps in and, you know, moving my body. And so I shared that with her and she said, you would be a fantastic candidate. Now we went through Ozempic, Wegovy and Mounjaro, and Mounjaro, she explained to me, works on 2 receptors instead of 1. Ozempic and Wegovy work on 1 receptor. They're a lot more affordable. Mounjaro is a lot more high ticket, but it works on 2 receptors, therefore the results can often be seen quicker and there's less side effects. I know I've had a lot of people around me that have been on Wegovy and they became really, really sick, like violently ill, whereas I didn't see anyone on Mounjaro having any crazy side effects or getting unwell. So I said yes. I started on a 2.5 milligram dosage and throughout time I slowly increased. Now that it has been a year, I have lost a total of over 13 kilos. Now, depending on my scale or the doctor's scale, if it was my scale, it would be 13 kilos. If it was my doctor's scale, it would be 14 kilos. So I'm sitting at 62 kilos, which is incredible. And I have to say that my weight loss has been very slow and gradual, which I have really appreciated and really loved, because I didn't want to have this massive, you know, weight loss really quickly and then my body freak out. So I've been averaging about 500 grams a week of weight loss over the last year. I've had a lot of plateaus and I share it in so many videos. I've had a lot of stagnancy, a lot of things where I'm like, this is not really working anymore. But here we are, 62 kilos, and I feel incredible. I have so much energy, like I'm so confident. And you know, everyone asks me like, what, do you have any side effects? Is anything, have you had any sickness or anything like that? I haven't. I've had a little bit of hair thinning. I think that's to be expected because you're not eating as many calories, therefore you're not getting a whole heap of protein, even though I really prioritize my protein, my macros. I'm on a meal plan, I'm working out, I'm doing all the things. But at the end of the day, I've had a tiny bit of hair thinning, no nausea, like nothing. This has been the most easiest thing I think I have ever done. And my foundations have stayed tried and true, still working out 4 to 5 times a week, still following meal plans, you know, eating in a calorie deficit, still getting 10,000 steps in every single day. So I'm doing all of my things. And then this has been an incredible tool in my tool belt, along with those things that has really helped me stay consistent. It has completely quietened down the food noise. I do not think about food anymore. Like, I can't be bothered. You know, there's no version of me that wants to lay in bed anymore and think about what I've eaten throughout the day, because I'm like, I just can't be bothered thinking about it. I love the medication because it really, it allows me to not overeat. Like last night we had pizza, for example, and I talk about this often in my videos, but I don't restrict, you know, myself at all. And I will eat the things. I just eat it now in more moderation. So last night we had pizza. Now, a year ago when I was eating pizza, I would have 6 slices of pizza. Last night I had 2 slices and I felt satiated, I felt good. That was it. That is why I freaking love this medication so much. It's like, it's kind of that extra security where like I just don't need to like be worried about overeating, because it just doesn't happen anymore. Like it truly just doesn't happen. So lost 14 kilos. I was getting my prescription through the doctor. Now I actually had a question. So let me bring up my questions, because I did have a question of someone asking me where I'm getting my stuff now, because I actually don't get it through my doctor anymore. Okay, so someone asked me, I'd love to know where you get them from, as I've seen so many brands that aren't legit in AU. So for the first 8 months, I was doing it through my doctor through a prescription. Okay, so, and I was solely on Mounjaro. Now I got up to 10 milligrams and the cost was just mind-blowing. So I started on the 2.5 milligrams and with a prescription it's $250. Moved on to the 5 milligram, I think it was $460. Moved on to the 7.5 milligram. Off the top of my head, I think it was $560, and then 10 milligrams was $670 a month. Like a month, you guys, okay? So when I got to 10 milligrams, I was really struggling with the cost. I was like, this is so much money for our family just to be doing every single month. Like that's a lot of money. And I had one of my friends, and I speak about my friend. Do you want to hop down? Okay, there you go. One of my friends, he's been in the health and fitness industry now for over 10 years. He's a nutritionist. He works with clients helping them lose, you know, that additional weight. And he actually reached out to me and he said to me, hey, you know, I can actually get you Mounjaro, which is known as Retatrutide, through the black market, and it is so much more affordable. Like I'm talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars cheaper, and you get more. So instead of just getting a month's supply, you would get like 10 weeks supply for a fraction of the price. And so he said to me, like, I can actually get it for you. And it took me so long to go, okay, yeah, screw it, I'm just gonna get it through him. And it was like really scary, because of course when you're getting something through the black market, you don't have that assurance as if you're just going to the chemist and you're getting your script. But at the end of the day, I was like, I'm going to give this a try and see how I go. Worst case, if it doesn't work out for me, or if, you know, I feel like it's not working, or the batch isn't good, or there's too many hiccups, I'll just go back to my doctor and I'll just pay the price. And so he got me my Retatrutide, and it's been fine. Like it's truly been so fine. So I've been getting it through him. Now, what I would say is that, you know, you kind of need to just like research. I'm more than happy for people to reach out and message me and send me a message, and I can share my contact with you privately. I don't really want to share it publicly, because at the end of the day, we're buying things through the black market, which is very much illegal, right? The doctors and chemists don't want you to source your medication for cheaper. Like, why would they? But at the end of the day, in my experience, everything that I've had has been the exact same as getting it from a chemist. It's literally been the same quantities, like the same product. Like it's all been the same, except I'm just paying so much more less. I'm just getting it direct from overseas, and I'm not paying, you know, a chemist or a pharmacy, and I'm not paying for the brand name Mounjaro. It's tirzepatide that I'm getting. So I started getting it from him. Now there are things to be wary of. There can be delays because your stuff has to go through customs, and customs have to approve it and send it to you. Your shipment can get stopped, and it can get taken away from you, and then they have to resend more. You can potentially buy from dodgy people. Like, you don't know who you're buying from. And with the products that I get, we get a certificate where it actually shows us the lab results of what's in the product and how much percentage of what is in there. So we have that, you know, assurance, I suppose. But at the end of the day, when you are buying from the black market, if you don't have that certificate, you don't really know what you're getting. So it is quite risky. Like, you know, you are saving a ton of money, but you also have that risk. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that. So I was getting it through my friend, my source, and that was amazing. However, what I noticed was that I kind of hit a plateau. Now, I was sitting at the 64 to 65 kilo mark for months and months and months and months, you know, and I had increased my dosage with tirzepatide, but what I noticed was the more that I kept increasing my dosage, the more tired I was becoming. Because with tirzepatide in particular, aka Mounjaro, it is an appetite suppressant. So when you are on a high dosage of that, what I found personally is that I wasn't eating as much. I would get like a quarter of the way through my meals and then I would just be done. And so what was happening is, you know, my hair was thinning a lot quicker because I wasn't getting as much nutrients in, and I was really, really tired, like really exhausted. And it was important to me to maintain my energy because I do enjoy working out. I'm not someone that's taking this medication and sitting on the couch. That's not me. I'm working out at the gym, at a CrossFit gym, 4 to 5 times a week, which is really hard, intense workouts. I'm getting my steps in. You know, I have dogs that I'm walking every day, like a daughter to keep up with. So I didn't want to keep increasing the dosage on the Mounjaro, on the tirzepatide, because I didn't want to keep losing my energy. So that's when I spoke to my friend who's been in the, you know, fitness industry for many, many years. He knows so much about peptides, really well versed. And he said to me, okay, why don't you try Reta? Now, Reta is something that it hasn't been approved. Okay, so your tirzepatide, even getting it through the black market, it's still FDA approved. Like, they've approved it, they're selling it here in pharmacies, whereas Reta is still in its trial phases. So that's the first thing that I think it's really important to understand. And I did get a question about this, so hang on, let me read the question, because I'm just like rambling and I want to make sure that I answer this person's question correctly. Okay, so this person said, what made you change from GLP-1 to Reta? What are the differences? What have you experienced with each? Okay, so my friend said to me, hey, why don't you try Reta? And I was like, okay, tell me about Reta. So he explained to me that Reta actually works on 3 pathways. So tirzepatide works on 2 pathways and Reta works on 3. It's still in its testing phases at the end of the day. But it is more of a fat burner, and also too, it gives you energy. So you're not losing energy. But the thing that it kind of doesn't do so well is appetite suppression and food noise. So I was like, ooh, I really enjoy the appetite suppression and food noise with my tirzepatide, but I also need something to help get me out of this plateau, and I don't want to keep losing my energy. I don't want to keep increasing my tirzepatide to get some sort of result. And I really want to get these last like 5-ish kilos off, and I want to break out of this plateau. So that's when I decided what I'm going to do is I'm not going to switch from tirzepatide to Reta. I'm going to add Reta in, okay? So what that looks like for me is I lowered my tirzepatide dosage. So I got up to 10 milligrams, which was a lot. I brought it back down to 5 milligrams and I introduced Reta. I started my Reta off at 2 milligrams. Now that's quite high, but at the end of the day, you know, I've been on these peptides for a long time, so my body is quite versed to it. Whereas if you were new, I'm not medical advice or anything, but you would need to speak to someone and probably go a tiny bit in, like 0.51, increase slowly. But for me, I started on 2 milligrams a week, and then I just slowly increased every single month. And now what it looks like for me is I am taking 5 milligrams of tirzepatide, so still on that for the food noise, appetite suppression, loving that. And then I'm taking 4 milligrams of Reta, and I find that that has helped me really break through my plateau. Like, I literally lost 3 kilos in 6 weeks. Like, that's how quickly the Reta started working. And I have so much energy, which is amazing for me because I'm so busy. Someone else had a really good question. Let me see. So someone said, the medication lasts about 5 days. During the last 2 days before my next dose, I get a little hungry. Was it the same for you? Okay, so yes. Now, when you are buying your GLP-1s, your peptides through the black market and not through a chemist, you are dosing through a syringe. Therefore, because you're mixing your vials, essentially you'll get a vial of powder, which is your peptide, that's how it comes from overseas, and then you will need to get some back water and you mix it up, okay? So that's essentially how it comes, whereas if you're buying through a chemist, everything comes pre-mixed and it's a liquid, so you're drawing out of a pen, everything is just, it's easier. But at the end of the day, what I found personally is absolutely correct what this person is saying. After, say, day 4 or 5, I would start to feel hungry again. I felt like the peptides or the medication, it was wearing off. So what I've done is I've actually split up my doses. So I found that I now dose twice a week, and it kind of helps me in the way of like I'm getting that beautiful big boost at the start of the week, and normally towards the end of the week my dosage would start wearing off because I need to inject in a few days, but I would be up against sugar cravings, hunger cravings, all those things. And so what I've done now is I've introduced a second dose. So what that looks like is I take my tirzepatide, my 5 milligrams on a Sunday. That's remained the same. I've been injecting every Sunday with tirzepatide non-stop for the past year. That works really, really well for me. With my Reta, this is where I split it in two. So rather than just doing one big 4 milligram, injection, I do two 2 milligram injections, and it looks like every 3 to 4 days. So essentially I'm doing usually like I'll inject say on a Monday, and then 4 days later, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, then I'll inject another 2 milligrams before the weekend, and it kind of covers me over the weekend. And then Monday comes around, again, inject 2 milligrams of Reta, and then on Friday, inject another 2 milligrams. That has really helped me a lot. I'm not losing the dosage towards the end of the week. I'm not giving into cravings, and especially like on the weekend. Like the weekend is the time where I'm like the laziest, I would say. Like I'm not working out as much, I'm not following a really strict meal plan, so it's the time where I need to be like covered by my peptides the most. So that's what I've been doing, and that's been working really, really well for me. Okay, I think I have one last question to answer. Okay, last question is, when will you come off them? So like I said, I've lost 13 to 14 kilos. I'm at 62 kilos. My goal has been to get to 60 kilos to 65 kilos. Like that was the goal. Now that I'm at 62 kilos, I'm still not where I want to be. I still have a fair bit of weight to lose and a bit of body fat that I'm noticing, but I'm very, very close. So what I'm thinking of doing, right, I really need to sit with this, but I'm thinking of getting down to 60 kilos and then seeing what my physique looks like, seeing how I'm feeling. The thing that I'll probably let go of the most is the tirzepatide. I'm probably going to let go of Mounjaro and be done with that before anything else. And then the Reta, I will probably just microdose that for a while. I will keep that in my system because again, it's a fat burner. It works really well. Like yes, it has the food noise and the appetite suppression, not as crazy as tirzepatide, but a little bit, which I think would be great. So I won't probably increase my dosage with the Reta. Instead, I'll eventually just do down to little micro doses every few days or once a week even, just to keep it going. It's something that, like I love the Reta. I've fallen in love with the Reta. It's had incredible results. I feel so much more alive and energized, and that in itself is like a reason why I kind of want to keep on it for a while. So who knows? I mean, when I get to 60 kilos, we will see. I'll do another update video, but as always, like I will keep you guys updated as to what's going on and where I'm at. And if you have any questions, put it on this video. I'm a girl's girl. There's no gatekeeping. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram because I'm always sharing like what I'm eating in a day, my transformations, injection routines, stuff like that. I have a whole playlist here over on YouTube of from start to finish of all of my videos sharing my journey over the last year. But yeah, if you want to know more, if you want me to speak on certain things over the last year, put it in the comment section and I will come back and do another video. But I will keep you guys locked in and keep you updated as to where this journey takes me, because I really don't know, but I know it's been the best journey that I could have possibly been on, and I'm so grateful that I moved past the fear of judgment, because for so many months I was just researching and sitting on the sidelines and researching, even though I was so miserable in my body. And even though I kept gaining weight and couldn't figure out why, and then I eventually decided, you know what, enough's enough. I'm going to put myself first. Screw what anyone thinks. Like, who cares? They're not living in my shoes. They're not waking up in my body. They're not looking in the mirror through my eyes. Like, who cares? And so once I got past the fear of judgment and prioritized myself, you know, it's truly been like the greatest year. I feel so much more sexier. I feel so much more confident. And I'm really excited to see like how I'm going to feel at 60 kilos, how my body's going to look, and just see how I can continue to improve myself overall. Like I heard someone say the other day on social media, and it was like, you're born into this character, but you can customize your character. Like life is a game, and at the end of the day, you don't have to settle for the character's skin that you were given, and you can customize it. And I freaking love that, because I'm a huge advocate for that. If you're not happy with any part of yourself, go customize it. It's your character. Like you're the one that has to live in this body. You're the one that has to look at yourself every single day. If you're not happy with your nose, go fix it. If you're not happy with your boobs, go fix it. If you're not happy with your weight, go fix it. Like we live in such a beautiful day and age where there's so many ways to fix your character and to change your character, because I feel like life is way too short to not be in love with the way that you look, or to not feel sexy, or to not feel confident. But anyway, you guys, that's enough from me. I love you and I appreciate you, and thank you for continuing to support my journey. Bye.